8VPV. Repeater. W8VPV. Repeater. PL110.9. Net.
Good evening, and welcome to the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club's Monday evening transmission of Amateur Radio Newsline. My name is Russ, and my call is KDA-BYT. But for this presentation of Newsline, I will be using the club call Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. Without further ado, this is Amateur Radio Newsline.
Amateur Radio Newsline report number 2388 with a release date of Friday, August 4th, 2023. To follow in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The following is a QST. Hams respond to deadly landslides in western India. Antenna issues plague the Voyager 2 probe, and the co-founder of Tentec becomes a silent key. All this and more as Amateur Radio Newsline report number 2388 comes your way right now.
From around the world, this is Newsline, Amateur Radio's independent, on-the-air news and bulletin service. And now reporting from Valparaiso, Indiana, here's Paul Brown, WD9GCO.
Our top story brings us to the scene of tragedy in western India, where hams were on the scene as monsoon rains caused a deadly landslide. Graham Kemp, VK4BB, has those details.
Amateur radio seemed to be the only way to communicate among rescue workers as a torrent of rain and high winds lashed the remote mountain village of Isawadi in western India's Maharashtra state, causing a massive landslide in the middle of the night. Radios tuned to 2 meters, the ham radio search and rescue team, amateurs from Mumbai, Pune and Dombivli, helped in the effort during the 48 hours of rainfall that began in the hours following the July 19 landslide. Members of the National Disaster Response Force found at least 27 people had been killed. Scores more were feared trapped or missing. Hams were deployed in teams to operate at the base camp, assisting J. Prakash Pulakudi, VU2 JPN, a veteran radio operator at many of these disasters. Other hams were deployed to the top of the hill, directed by Bimal Nathwali, VU2 CFE, assisting rescue workers who focused their efforts from there. According to a report on the National Public Radio website, although monsoons are not uncommon in the region at this time of year, scientists say their pattern has become more erratic due to climate change. I'm Graham Kemp, VK4BB.
Fair Radio Sales, a well-known supplier of surplus electronic military equipment for more than a half-century, has announced that it is closing its doors at the end of the year. Its 30,000-square-foot location in Lima, Ohio, has been a destination for local radio amateurs and those making a pre-hamvention visit each spring in Ohio. The company, founded in 1947, has been in its second generation of ownership under Phil Salati, along with his late brother. A satellite completing its 5-year mission returned to Earth using a method designed to minimize stray space debris. More on that from Jeremy Booth, G4NJH.
A British-built weather satellite achieved an unprecedented re-entry to Earth on Friday the 28th of July, guided by the European Space Agency. The spacecraft, known as EOLUS, had outlived its usefulness in gathering data and monitoring weather after a 5-year mission. It returned to Earth in an assisted crash into the Atlantic Ocean. The satellite, named after the Greek god of the winds, had served weather centers across Europe. Its guided re-entry, accomplished by the European Space Agency's mission control team in Germany, was seen as an alternative to the more conventional method of simply letting it burn up upon re-entry. The ESA was hoping to minimize the risk of space debris going astray, adding that it believed the mission would inspire other such guided re-entries. In addition to accomplishing the first-time re-entry of its kind, EOLUS claims another distinction as the first satellite to use space as a vantage point for measuring the Earth's winds, and since 2018 it had been measuring the movement of winds at any location on the planet by firing a laser down into the atmosphere. This is Jeremy Booth, G4NJH.
The co-founder of a popular U.S.-based ham radio equipment manufacturer has become a silent key. According to an online obituary, Jack Edward Birchfield, K4JU, who created Tentec with partners Albert Kahn and Tom Mitchell in the late 1960s, died on July 15th in South Carolina. The original line of products carried by the company were of his design. as were many other products that were developed in the years afterwards. Jack distinguished himself as an amateur radio operator as well as a businessman. He was inducted into the Amateur Radio Hall of Fame in 2004. For years, the Smithsonian Museum of American History in Washington, D.C. has had many of his radios on display. Jack was 88. From Canada, we hear of another silent key, a lifelong amateur radio operator who retired from a distinguished broadcast radio career in the Yukon. We hear more about him from Andy Morrison, K9AWM.
In professional radio, Ron McFadden was known for delivering an eloquent newscast just as smoothly as for presenting a vibrant sports report. In amateur radio, a passion he had for most of his life, he devoted himself to community service, emergency response, and volunteerism. His fascination with the inner workings of radio began early, and by high school he had built his first shortwave set. Shortly afterward, he began exploring career options at small radio stations in Canada, which eventually led him to arrive at a new station, CKRW, starting up in Whitehorse in the Yukon in 1969. He left professional broadcasting briefly, only to return in 1973 to work in the Whitehorse offices of the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. His voice soon became a familiar source of news and sports updates as he interviewed local people everywhere, along with political and entertainment luminaries. In 1976, Ron received the amateur radio call sign of BE8AD and became the charter president of the Yukon Amateur Radio Association. 2 years later, when the Yukon became VY1, his call sign changed to VY1RM. Longtime friend Jeff Stanhope, BA7JPS, who had been a member of the Yukon Amateur Radio Association, told the CBC that Ron, as a ham radio advocate and promoter of emergency response and communications, was, quote, essentially the face of amateur radio in the Yukon, end quote. Ron was 80. This is Andy Morrison, K9AWM.
Commercial space launches would enjoy some new and expanded allocations in the spectrum under rules proposed by the U.S. FCC chairwoman, Jessica Rosenworcel. A new allocation would be established for these operations on a secondary basis on frequencies between 2025 and 2110 megahertz. They would also gain use of part of the band between 2200 and 2290 megahertz, where they have privileges on a secondary basis. The proposed change here would expand access from 4-channel to full access. Finally, the proposed rules would permit federal space stations use of the allocation between 399.9 and 400.05 megahertz. A press release from the FCC called the announcement the latest initiative to be taken through the agency's space innovation agenda. The FCC chairwoman said that the new rules would ensure stable and reliable communications for private companies as they transport astronauts, launch and operate satellites, and explore space. In Pakistan, a massive antenna project is being built to bring digital radio mondial service to the nation's public radio listeners and beyond. John Williams, VK4 JJW, has the details.
Calling Radio Pakistan's analog and shortwave broadcasting technology outdated, the Broadcasting formally launched a project on July 30th designed to bring 1,000 kilowatt digital signals from the public broadcaster to listeners in Pakistan and beyond. The upgrade begins at a time when the majority of Radio Pakistan's transmitters have been declared obsolete and have been shut down. According to the DRM website, DRM was approved in January of 2020 as the standard in Pakistan for all frequency bands on AM and FM radio. The Pakistan Broadcasting Corporation's digital transmitter project is being built in Rawat, which has been declared as the nation's first media city. Pakistan's new broadcasting system is based on Digital Radio Mondial, or DRM technology. Its ability to transmit as many as 4 signals at the same time has found favor with Pakistani government officials who believe this will save energy costs and be more efficient. The Minister for Information and Broadcasting, Mariam Aurangzeb, said that the boost in signal strength and range will benefit listeners in the Middle East, the Far East, Central Asia, South Asia, and Eastern Europe. According to the DRM website, the technology is enjoying a robust rollout elsewhere. 35 medium wave transmitters are sending signals to more than 900 million people in India, where cars are also being outfitted with DRM receivers. Indonesia, China, and Romania are among the many nations that also have various forms of DRM broadcasting. This is John Williams, VK4JJW.
It's time for you to identify your station. We are the Amateur Radio Newsline, heard on bulletin stations around the world, including the K4EX repeater in Dade City, Florida, on Tuesdays after the 7 p.m. net. We've all had antenna issues at one time or another, but what happens when changes in your antenna take you off the air and your antenna is more than 12 billion miles away? Now, that's the problem facing the Voyager 2 Deep Space Probe, as we hear from Kent Peterson, KC0DGY.
NASA lost communications with the Voyager 2 probe after sending it a set of commands on July 21st. Those commands caused a change in the spacecraft antenna's orientation by 2 degrees, and that was enough to interrupt communications between the spacecraft and the Earth. However, Voyager is programmed to reset its orientation on occasion and keep its antenna correctly pointed. The next regularly scheduled reset is October 15th. However, by using the multiple antennas of NASA's Deep Space Network, or DSN, mission engineers were able to detect a carrier signal from Voyager 2. They hope to use the DSN to shout a command for Voyager to reorient its antenna. This intermediary step may not work, in which case the team will wait for its automatic orientation reset this October. This is Kent Peterson, KC0DGY.
Police in New York City are the latest to join the move amongst municipal law enforcement to encrypt their radio transmissions, as we learned from Neil Rapp, WB9VPG.
Amid calls of protest from the news media and from local New York City officials, the New York City Police Department has begun encrypting its radio transmissions, following a practice taking place at police departments around the United States. 6 police precincts in northern Brooklyn were the first to implement the use of encrypted transmissions recently, and the NYPD confirmed to various media outlets that more are to follow. In response, members of the New York City Council issued a statement on July 28th saying, in part, quote, "Transparency is key to achieving and maintaining public safety. It is troubling that the NYPD began encrypting its radio system without an adequate transparency plan implemented first, which can jeopardize the safety of New Yorkers. Journalists, volunteer first responders, and other key stakeholders across diverse neighborhoods rely on the system to help keep people safe and deliver important information," end quote. Police radio transmissions have traditionally been transparent, and first responders, members of the media, and others often monitor scanners to learn what is going on. New York City's change to its police radios follows similar actions in California, Colorado, the city of Chicago, and elsewhere. An NYPD statement defended its decision by saying, in part, quote, "The safety of our first responders and the community at large will always remain our top priority. From preserving the integrity of active crime scenes to restricting those who intentionally transmit on police frequencies to disrupt emergency communications, there are many reasons encryption is vital," end quote. This is Neil Rapp, WB9VPG.
In the world of DX, George F5MAG is using the call sign TM0MM from the Friel Archipelago, IOTA number EU095, through the 19th of August. He is using CW, single sideband, and FT8 on 40 through 60 meters. See QRZ.com for QSL information. Operators Lazio and Melise are using the special call sign II6PN to celebrate the centenary of the National Park of Abruzzo. They are on the air from now until the 31st of October. Most of their activity will be on from the 1st through the 17th of September. Certificates are available. See QRZ.com for further details. Anton RG0C will have a low-power CW operation as RG0C/P from the Shantar Islands, IOTA number AS044, until the 10th of August. Listen for him on 20 meters. QSL via his home call. Listen for special event station PA14JAMBO in the Netherlands until the 14th of August. Operators are marking the 14th Harlem Jamboree, a large international scout camp. Operators are using CW, single cell details, CQRZ.com. Our final story is about history, celebration, and some happy memories of a celebrated and celebrity local amateur. Ralph Squillace, KK6 ITB, brings us that report.
The Wallapai Amateur Radio Club was barely 4 years old when much-loved American character actor Andy Devine died in 1977. Distinctly gravel-voiced and garrulous, Andy was perhaps less known among his film and TV fans for the off-screen role he played regularly as WB6RER, or Whiskey Bravo 6 Red-Eyed Rooster, as he spelled it out. Born in Flagstaff, Arizona, Andy had grown up in Kingman, where the Wallapai Club was founded in 1973. So it was natural after Andy's death for the club to ask his family to grant permission for them to apply to the FCC for his call sign. Whiskey Bravo 6 Red-Eyed Rooster has been back on the air ever since. The club marked its 50th anniversary with special event station between July 15th and the 23rd. Mike Risser, KG6ECW, the club secretary, said that band conditions were challenging, but like the late actor himself, the radio operators took on an important role. Mike told Newsline in an email, quote, "Not a lot of people under the age of 60 even know who he was. Many of those who do know who he was didn't know that he was a ham, but we're hoping to change that," end quote. To fans of a certain age, Andy is remembered for his screen appearances, some of them alongside such icons as Roy Rogers and John Wayne. Baby boomers grew up with the popular children's TV show Andy hosted in the 1950s. It was called Andy's Gang, and it featured an assortment of memorable characters. The show went off the air in late 1960, but as Mike told Newsline, quote, "We're proud to be Andy's Gang and look forward to doing more to keep his call and his memory alive," end quote. This is Ralph Squillace, KK6 ITB.
Do your QSOs inspire poetry? Is there a haiku, perhaps, waiting to be written about that last QSL card you got? Join the Amateur Radio Newsline Haiku Challenge. In the spirit of fun and perhaps a little bit of literary adventure, we invite you to share the joy of ham radio in the form of a haiku. On our website, arnewsline.org, you will find a submission form. To qualify, you need to follow the traditional haiku form. The first line is 5 syllables, the second line is 7 syllables, and the finishing third line has another 5 syllables. We cannot accept any other formats. Our team will pick from the best submissions that follow the 575 syllable rule and represent the love of amateur radio. Your prize? For now, bragging rights, and a featured spot for your haiku on the Amateur Radio Newsline website. Now, we may have a surprise for you at the end of the year, however, so visit our website at arnewsline.org and take a look at this week's winning ham radio haiku. If you have a piece of amateur radio news that you think Newsline would be interested in, send it on. Now, we're not talking about advertising your club's upcoming ham fest or field day participation, but something that is out of the ordinary. If so, send us a brief overview via the contact page at arnewsline.org. If it's newsworthy and we would like to cover it, we'll get back to you for more details. With thanks to Amateur Radio Daily, AM New York, Bobby Graves, KB5HAV, Business Reporter, the CBC, CQ Magazine, David Behar, K7DB, 425DX News, the FCC, Gizmodo, The Guardian, Mike Risser, KG6ECW, NASA, the New York Police Department, QRZ.com, Radio Pakistan, Radio TV Digital News Association, shortwaveradio.de, space.com, the White Horse Daily Star, the Wireless Institute of Australia, and you, our listeners. That's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline. We remind our listeners that Amateur Radio Newsline is an all-volunteer non-profit organization that does incur expenses for continued operation. If you wish to support us, please visit our website at arnewsline.org and know that we appreciate you all. We also remind our listeners that if you like our newscast, Please leave us a 5-star rating wherever you subscribe to us. For now, with Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team worldwide, I'm Paul Brown, WD9GCO in Valparaiso, Indiana, saying 73. As always, we thank you for listening. Amateur Radio Newsline is copyright 2023. All rights reserved.
This concludes our Monday evening transmission of Amateur Radio Newsline. Net to start in about 9 minutes.
W8VPV. Repeater.
Good evening. Calling all amateur radio operators. Welcome to the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club Monday night VHF UHF net. My name is John and my call is WO3X. However, for the purposes of this net, I'll be using the club call Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor.
W8VPV. Repeater.
This is an open directed net. All amateur radio operators are invited and encouraged to check in. You do not have to be a club member. All traffic will go through net control, and since emergency traffic may break in at any time, please leave a brief pause between transmissions. The purpose of this net is to bring together all amateur radio operators for the exchanging of amateur-related ideas and information to enhance net operating practices and to keep members up to date about club happenings. This net meets here every Monday evening at 8:30 p.m. local time, preceded by amateur radio Newsline at 8:01. Start with announcements and then ask for check-ins from any officer or member who has an announcement of general interest to the club. Once that is complete, I'll take 5 check-ins, call signs only, 5 at a time, and confirming each call. Then I'll correspond with these 5 check-ins and ask for 5 more. Then I'll repeat the announcements and then give one last call for check-ins. If you're a regular participant, I'll probably recognize you by call sign. If not, please give your call sign repeated phonetically, followed by your name and your location. Okay, here are the announcements. The next meeting of the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club will be this Wednesday, that's August 9th, at 7:30 p.m. And in person will be at the Pilgrim United Church of Christ, 130 Broad Boulevard, but you enter the parking lot off of 2nd Street, just south of Broad Boulevard. There will also be Zoom access, and so go to the calendar, www.cfarc.org, and click on the link for the Zoom meeting. Also, the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club picnic is August 23rd, and picnic registration is now on the page. On the left side, there's a like a list of activities, and that is the top one right now. So register yourself, and it's self-explanatory on the registration there. It asks for the number of adults and children and what you're going to bring and how many of each hot dog or hamburger that you'll need for the group. And so take a look at that. And if you haven't paid your dues yet, you have to be a paid-up member to attend this picnic. So take a look at the website there on how to pay your dues. Then, let's see, so there will be no Zoom on that picnic day. That's August 23rd. Then on September 13th, which would normally be our business meeting in September, but the last few years we've been having CTTF, CFARC to the field. So you can sign up for your activation park of choice. And, but before you make your choice, take a look at the activation list, because some of them have been chosen already. Again, that will be September 13th, and the activity will be from 4:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. We made a couple of changes this year, and the one big one was that we removed making contacts on 10-meter FM, which technician licensed people are not permitted to perform. So we took that off, so now nobody will have an advantage over anybody about bands and modes. Technicians can work all the bands and modes mentioned in the activity. There's also a W1AW/8 activity, and that will be August 30th to September 6th. So there's a link for that on that same page there on www.cfarc.org, and choose a day and time to either do an activation. You choose a day and time and fill out the form with your choice. I think that the choices that are already taken are clearly shown, so don't choose the same day and time and frequency as that's already been chosen. Also, regarding the 2024 Hamfest, we need people to be committee people, and so there's a couple of articles in the newsletter about that. So take a look at that and consider helping out by being on the committee. I think that's all that I have in the way of announcements at this time. So, are there any officers or members who have an announcement of general interest to the club? Please call Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. This is WO3X. Name here's John at the mic.
K8VYT.
K8ZT.
W8EZT.
Okay, I got Russ, I got Anthony, and I got Frank. Go ahead, Russ, with your comments.
Okay, boys and girls, this is a reminder of the baseball game that we want to attend on September 2nd at 7:05 p.m. at Canal Park in downtown Akron. Tickets are $12 each. If you wish to purchase tickets and print them out on your computer, you can go to W8WKY website, and there's a link there where you can get to the place to purchase tickets. We've only sold 12 so far,
And we have 24 left, so you might want to move it. Anyway, that's all I got. K8VYT 73. Okay, Russ, thanks for that, and I'll try to remember to repeat that in the announcements at the end of the net. Thanks for that. Okay, next is Anthony, K8Z.
Hey everyone, well, John, you did a great job with all those announcements. Please visit the webpage, www.cfarc. There's been a bunch of new items added. There was also just the newsletter just came out. Also, this Wednesday meeting, we will also be discussing the CFARC to the field. So if you want more details on that, be there Wednesday. And then one last announcement. On Thursday, the day after our meeting, Thursday, the 10th of August, join us for a special CFARC social and education event. The education event is at the Stowe Monroe Falls Public Library, and it's going to be on the history of commercial broadcast radio. And before that, we're going to see if people want to meet up at the Tip Top restaurant down the street from there. So go to the website and look for the join us for a special CFARC social and education event on August 10th. This is K8ZT.
Okay, Anthony, very good. Yeah, I forgot about that. Okay, next is Frank, W8EZT. Go ahead, Frank, with your comments.
Good evening, everybody, from southern County. Down here by Sisters right now, finishing up a deal with Park and the message out. Just wanted to remind everybody that need your attendance Wednesday at the business meeting, be it in person or through a Zoom meeting, but we do need to make quorum. We're going to be trying to pass a budget for next year's Hamfest. It's going to be a little on the high side of $5,000. Want to discuss it with everybody, make sure I've got everybody's input, but we want to try to pass that, and we need that to be able to sign the contract and go forward. So we need to see a quorum at Wednesday's meeting. That's really about all I've got. Look forward to seeing everybody at the Wednesday meeting. We'll hand it back to you, W8EZT, back to net.
Okay, Frank, thanks for that. You broke up a little bit at the beginning, but what Frank was mentioning is that we are going to vote on a budget for the 2024 Hamfest, and so we need a quorum, so please attend that, and also provide some discussion about that Hamfest. So again, that's this Wednesday, August 9th, 7:30 p.m. and in person at the Pilgrim United Church of Christ or on Zoom. And the link is on the calendar on the page www.cfarc.org. On the right side there is the calendar. Okay, is there anybody else, officers or members who have important information? Please call Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor at this time. Okay, none heard, so I'll take 5 check-ins. Let me acknowledge each call sign one at a time. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor.
Alpha Charlie 8 X-Ray Oscar. W83JAT.
K8HMS. W8DIS in and out.
Number 8 Alpha Charlie Papa N8ACP Chris and Akron.
Okay, net standby. Okay, so I got Vince AC8XO, I got Jim, WA3JAT. I got Steve, K8HMS. I got Bill, W8DIS, in and out. I got Chris, N8ACP. And one more, please.
K8PU.
And I got Larry, K8PU. Okay, let's go up to Vince, AC8XO.
Good evening, John, and everybody on the net. This is your friendly newsletter editor. If anybody has any negative comments, positive comments, or none of the above comments, let me know. Newsletter's out there. Everybody get a chance to read it. There's a lot of stuff in there. Other than that, I ain't got anything else going on, John. We got a new cat in the house, but that's it.
Okay, Vince, very good. Thanks, and thanks for putting out the newsletter there, and good luck with the new cat. Okay, so next is Jim, WA3JAT. Go ahead with your comments.
WA3JAT. Good evening to everybody on the net. We've got, as already mentioned, previous announcement, we've got a couple activities this week on Wednesday. Hopefully I'll see a lot of you there, and that's it for now. WA3BD, WA3JAT.
Okay, Jim, very good. Thanks for checking in, 73. Have a good evening, and we'll see you at the meeting Wednesday. Okay, WADIS Bill was in and out, so next is Chris, N8ACP. Go ahead, Chris.
Good evening there, John, and all on the net. Let's see here. I want to say to, I think it's Alpha Charlie 8 Alpha Victor is the call sign. I always read the newsletter, so we do appreciate your work, and I always read it. So, and it's a great newsletter. I don't think there's any club around here in the area that does a newsletter or such a nice newsletter as the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club does. So, anyways, let's see what's going on. 20 meters was wide open last night. I worked Hungary, and then he gave me a good signal, so I called CQ. I only got back North Texas on calling CQ. And then picked up, went hunting and picked up U.S. Virgin Islands, Czech Republic, 4 stations from Italy, 2 of which I had not worked before, and Curacao, so that wasn't too bad for 100 watts and a wire. That's pretty much all the news from me, John. Back to net control, Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor from November 8 Alpha Charlie Papa 73.
7-3, Chris, and have a good evening. Thanks for the comments. Okay, next is Larry, K8PU. Go ahead, Larry, with your comments. This is Whiskey 8 Victor, Papa Victor.
John, everybody on the net, watching the weather. We're having these little rain, cool-off rainstorms, pretty nice, but boy, down south, those people are dying in the heat, short of water and everything else. We're really lucky we live in this region. I was just watching that. That's pretty bad. Okay, catch you over on, what are we doing now? Just, forgot. Is this 6 meter night? Can't see my calendar from here, John. 6 meter night or 10 meter, whatever it is, I'll be there for net at 9:30. So back to your W8VPV, K8PU.
Oh yeah, Larry. The 930 net is on 6 meters on 50.270 megahertz upper sideband. So hope to hear you over there. Okay, let's see. Here's Steve, K8HMS. Go ahead, Steve, with your comments. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor.
Yeah, okay, John. W8VPV, K8HMS. Yeah, good evening to you. Good evening to everybody. Hope everybody's doing well and just enjoying a little bit of cooler weather. And Yeah, like Larry was saying there, boy, we are so lucky here. I keep seeing floods and tornadoes and all sorts of stuff going on, and we're pretty lucky here. So glad we're in this area, I guess. And yeah, I haven't been doing much lately. Did sell my boat, fortunately, to a friend of mine, so I'm off the water, although it's a friend of mine and I can use it whenever I need, so I got the best of both worlds, I guess. Anyway, back to you. We'll see you on 6 meters, Kate HMS.
Okay, Steve, very good. Well, that turned out pretty good with that boat, so have fun with that. So that takes us to the bottom of the list. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor with John WO3X at the mic, asking for 5 more check-ins.
Kilo Echo 8 Uniform India Bravo KC8 UID John in Massillon.
AB8OU.
Kilo Foxtrot 8 Golf.
Kilo Echo 8 Victor Quebec X-Ray Joe in Akron.
Okay, I got KE8UIB, I got AB8OU, I got KFAG, and I got KE8VQX. Let's see, how many is that? Okay, one more, please.
KA8WTK.
KA8WTK, Bill. Okay. So, let's see, let's go up to KE8UIB. Go ahead with your comments.
W8DPD from KE8UIB. Good evening out there, everybody on the net. Just wanted to check in this evening from Massillon and say hello to everybody. Hope everybody's staying dry as we're almost an inch and 1/10 of rain here tonight. And with that again, just hope everybody's staying dry. Have a good evening. This is KE8UIB. Back over to net control 7-3, y'all.
Okay, John, thanks for your comments there, and 73, and have a good evening. And so that takes us to Zeke, AB8OU. Go ahead, Zeke, with your comments.
AB8OU. Good evening, John and everyone. Well, good thing you mentioned it was on 6 meters tonight. I was thinking it was the second Monday of the month. But after that, I went looking, and then I changed my calendar to August, which helps a bit. Anyway, not much. North American QSO Party CW was on Saturday, and the solar storm did a good job of radio blackout for a while, and then a lot of band noise. But anyway, back to you, AB8OU.
Yeah, very good, Zeke. Last Monday was the last day of July, and so and that was a 5th Monday, so that's why we were on 12 meters. Okay, maybe we'll hear you there pretty good on 6 meters this evening there, Zeke. 73, and we'll go down to Brian, KFAG. Go ahead, Brian, with your comments. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor.
Good evening, John. Just wanted to pop in, give you a number, say hi. Kind of half listening to the net. I'm reading. Just my usual routine before I go to bed. I read myself to sleep. When the eyelids get heavy, I turn the light off and go to bed. So that's kind of my plan right now. But good evening, everyone on the net. And 7-3's talk to you Sunday, John. KFAG.
Yeah, okay, Brian. Yeah, talk with you Sunday. You'll be the net control station there on 6 meters on the N8XPK 6-meter multi-state net at 7 o'clock. 53170 is the repeater output, and you transmit on 52.170. And if you're close to Medina, then use 114.8 for the PL tone. If you're up toward Richfield, use 136.5, and then there are several other ones too that I know, but we'll just go with those two for now. Okay, thanks, Brian, for checking in, and have a good evening. Okay, the next one is KE8VQX. Joe, go ahead with your comments.
W8VPV, this is KE8VQX. Not much in the way of comments, John. Hello, everyone, and hello to you, John. Just made a 10-meter contact with New Zealand for the first time today. That band has been completely silent for me for weeks, I guess. Anyway, that was exciting. So, not much else. Actually, nothing else. So, with that, this is KE8VQX back to W8VPV.
Okay, Joe, very good. Congratulations on contacting New Zealand there. It was a long time ago. Let's see, I just had my novice license, and I contacted New Zealand, and I could only use CW back then. So congratulations. Okay, the next one is Bill, KA8WTK. Go ahead, Bill, with your comments.
W8VPV and everybody, KA8WTK. Good evening, John. Not much new here. The multi-week bathroom remodel project is just about done. I'll have it finished up in the next couple days. Be nice to get done with that and move on to something else. It's been almost all-consuming to get things done in there, with days off for good behavior, I guess, and sanity. But wife and I decided we weren't going to do anything on it today, so in between the raindrops, we took a nice walk. It was a good day. Back to net control, W8VPV, KA8WTK.
Okay, Bill. Well, very good. Congratulations on almost getting done with that. We did ours in November 2013, and the biggest part of it was changing out the cast iron sewer pipes. So it was a challenge cutting them. The one is over 4 inches in diameter, and but I managed to cut it, and then let's see, what did I do with? I took the metal to the junkyard there. I mean, it was really heavy. The joints that they had on that thing, it was really a complicated thing. But it was a few hundred pounds, so that worked out okay, though. So good luck with that, Bill, and 73, have a good evening. Okay, that takes us to the bottom of the list. So this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for check-ins.
KDI, in and out, just one for the numbers.
Okay, Ron, I have you in and out, thanks. Another one, please.
KE8ULA.
KE8ULA, I have you. Another one, please.
Quebec Oscar Lima. This is Keith over here in Kenmore. I'll be in and out.
I doubled with you. Go ahead again.
Yes, this is KD8QOL, Kilo Delta 8, Quebec Oscar Lima. This is Keith over here in Kenmore, and I'll just be checking in and out. Just wanted to add the numbers, 7301.
Okay, thanks for the in and out contact. One for the numbers, very good. Another check-in, please.
NU8Y, November Uniform 8 Yankee, John, North Royalton, in and out, just checking.
Okay, thanks for the in and out. NU8Y, very good, 73, and have a good evening. Another check-in, please.
KA8BSA, in and out, please.
KA8BSA, I have you in and out, Keith. Another one, please.
Kilo Echo 8 Tango Quebec Romeo, Keith in Uniontown, KE8TQR.
Okay, KE8TQR. We'll get back with you in a moment. Let's see. We'll go up to KE8ULA. Go ahead with your comments.
Good evening, John, and everyone on the net. This is Jim. Just wanted to check in, say hello, and not much going on with me. Just spent the weekend. There was got a landscaping project out in the backyard I'm working on, in between the rain, that is. Put in another 12-hour workday today, so I'm kind of tired right now. I'm going to zoom into the meeting Wednesday. The week of the picnic, I'll be in Canada, so I'm not going to be able to make the picnic. With that, back to the net, KE8ULA.
Okay, Jim, thanks, and we'll watch for you on Zoom there on Wednesday. Very good. So, 73, and have a good evening. Okay, KD8QOL was in and out, and U8Y was in and out, and Keith KA8BSA was in and out. So that takes us to KE8TQR. Go ahead with your comments. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor with John WO3X at the mic.
W8BPV, KE8TQR. Good evening, John. Thanks for taking my check-in this evening. Good evening to everyone else on this fine net. Good to hear everybody. I've just been moving around on a couple different nets tonight. Just wanted to jump in here and say hi to everyone. Hope everyone's Monday went well. Hope the rest of the week goes even better. Nothing much going on here. Tried to stay dry today. Didn't happen. I got a little bit sprinkled on, but other than that, it wasn't bad. But anyway, we'll just send it back to you, John, at Net Control, and doing a fine job on the net tonight. Good to hear everybody. KE8TQR saying 73 all.
Okay, Keith, 73. Have a good evening. Thanks for checking in. And hope to hear you next time. Okay, that takes us to the bottom of the list. So this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for check-ins. Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for check-ins. Okay, I'll repeat the announcements. Okay, before I forget, let me mention about the baseball game and go to w8wky.org and you can buy your ticket and make sure that you print it out so that you'll have it with you at the game. that was mentioned by Russ, KD8VYT. Okay, now this Wednesday, August 9th, is a business meeting with the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club. It will be in person, the Pilgrim United Church of Christ in Cuyahoga Falls on Broad Boulevard. The parking lot is on 2nd Street. Let's see here. And then on Thursday is a fun event at the Stowe Library. Go to the website www.cfarc.org, and let's see here. Let me go to it here. And there's on the left side of the screen is a collection of announcements. So that August 10th item is the golden age of radio, and just before that there'll be a dinner at the Tip Top restaurant. So there's a sign up for that.
Repeater, timeout. Time. Repeater. Out.
Okay. Sounds like I timed it out. Okay, so let's see. Russ's baseball game there. Go to w8wky.org and sign up for the tickets. If you pay for it, make sure that you print it out so that you'll have it with you at the ball game. On this Wednesday is the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club business meeting. So we have some important business to attend to, and we need a quorum for that. So please attend that. It will be at 7:30 p.m. at the Pilgrim United Church of Christ in person. That's in Cuyahoga Falls. The parking lot's on 2nd Street. And it will also be on Zoom. So please attend that. It starts at 7:30. Then on Thursday is an event at the Stowe Library. It's the golden age of radio. And so on the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club webpage, on the left side is a list of various activities. So scroll down there. There's one that has a radio symbol in it. And so please register for that if you plan to attend. And there's also on the registration it asks if you're going to attend the dinner at the Tip Top restaurant, which is walking distance from the library. Also, you can sign up now for CTTF. That's and choose your park that you want to activate. That will be, instead of a meeting, on September 13th from 4:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. And there has been an improvement in the choice of modes and bands. And the improvement is that we removed 10-meter FM activity. So it's even ground for everybody involved who wants to participate. With anybody with an amateur radio license can participate in all the modes and bands. And there'll be a random drawing after all the logs are in, and it will be for a DX Engineering gift certificate, and it doesn't matter as long as you made at least 5 contacts, then you qualify to be in that drawing. Again, that's happening on September 13th from 4:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. And go to make your activation choice, and but look at the activation list first so that you're not trying to sign up for a park or a location that's already chosen. That's all that I have in the way of announcements. So at this time, this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor, last call for check-ins.
WD8MJS, Whiskey Delta 8, Mike Juliet Sierra.
WD8MJS, go ahead with your comments.
Well, I forgot all about the net. I was kind of busy getting supper cooked late here, and just flipped it on, and so I've missed everything, but that's okay. There's always next week. Back to net.
Okay, Ken. Well, you can just go to www.cfarc.org, and on that page, on the left side, is an activities list there, and so you can see what all we're doing, and things that you can sign up for or attend. So thanks for checking in, 73, and have a good evening. Okay, this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor with John WO3X at the mic asking for check-ins.
KE8ULA recheck.
Go ahead, Jim, with your recheck.
Yeah, hey John, did you say we'll be talking about the CFARC to the field at the meeting? I had a few questions now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah. Anthony mentioned at the beginning of this net that he would be talking about that some too. But the links are all on there, all on our website now. So you can go through them and that might answer some of your questions before the meeting. Over.
Yeah, copy that. I'll check out the. It looks like there's some kind of a presentation out there. I'll check that out and see if that answers my questions, and then I'll zoom into the meeting on Wednesday. KE8ULA out.
Yeah, it was posted August 6th, and has in the it says August 6th, and then the next column it says Adventures in Summit Metro Parks, and that's green print, and then CTTF info in the right-hand column. You click on that, and there's all kind of stuff in there, including the activation sign-up sheet. So take a look at that, Jim. Very good. 73, and have a good evening. Okay, this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. Last call for check-ins. Papa Victor, last call for check-ins. Okay, I don't hear any more, so in preparing to close this net, I would like to thank all of you who took the time to join us and check in tonight. Without your participation, there would be no net. This has been John, and my call is WO3X, and it's been my pleasure to host this evening's net. At this time, I will close the net with 22 check-ins counting myself and return the repeater to normal customary amateur radio use. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor closing the net at 9:16 p.m. local time. 7-3. The band expiration net will be on 6 meters this evening at on 50.270 megahertz upper sideband at 9:30 p.m. This is WO3X clear.
W8VPV. Repeater. Repeater. W8VPV. Repeater.